black cops. You couldn't even run, drive round the block. Recently, police trained black cops.
Good morning, beautiful people. Good morning, beautiful people. How are we?
Doing well. I'm doing great.
Good morning. Good morning. Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday to my homies. Hey, listen, it was appropriate. I had to throw in that KRS-One. Y'all know I'm a hip hop head. In case you didn't know, now you do. Throw that KRS-One, and if you know it, you know it, and if you don't, you're with it. Of course, we're gonna tackle all the hot topics. What do you want to talk about this week, Amber D?
Man, there's several. There's a lot of stuff going on happening right now, but I know we're gonna get into it. So
you know we could get into it. What about you, Nick?
Let's see.
What talking about?
We're gonna talk about family acceptance.
Hey, y'all know we always got to talk about the relationships, the family acceptance. We're definitely gonna talk about that. So I wanted to give you guys like a sneak peek. Of course, we're gonna talk about, I started the show off with Black Cop. So we're gonna talk about, Tyree's incident. Did I say Tyree?
Tyree
Nicholson. There you go. His incident that occurred that goes on all the time. It's just so many more, but I like to keep it light because we got so much going on in the world. So we're going to tackle all the topics. The chef, we're going to talk about the Big Mac with the cheese. Come on, man. She just wanted some cheese and got beat up for some cheese. Slice of cheese. Okay. It's just a lot going on. We're going to talk about the ring. Let's talk about the ring. Who gets the ring? Does the ring go back if the engagement's off? Shall we shop talk? Now listen, I'm gonna tell y'all right now. So I'm chilling. I'm in Virginia right now, and I had a hat on. And it's like, I'm gonna throw this hat on. Amber D gonna say, I'm looking very. Let me show y'all. Hold on. I love Mickey. I have Mickey on. She was like, you're looking very MAGA-ish. So I took that thing off, okay?
She snatched it off with the quickness, too. Quick.
I was like, wait a minute. What? Ain't nobody trying to do that up in this mud? Yes, very MAGA-ish. So did not want to have that problem. So we just going to work with what we got to work with. So let me tell y'all, listen, I'm trying to have faith in these medical people.
oh.
You said, yeah, I really am. Listen, so I go to the doctor. Okay, first let me say this. I'm gonna give you a preface. What had happened was in Florida, people were buying degrees. You're like, Mel, what you talking about degrees? Well, 7,600 nursing degrees were bought. Let me say this. You have to sit for the ours is Ohio Board of Nursing. But you have to sit for the board state test in order to be licensed.
Yes.
So these people, they weren't getting the skills that they needed. Have I run into it? Over my 2 decades, I have run into it where people were like, well, I'm not comfortable with this. And they say that, and then other nurses do it. I am not that nurse. However, I will not allow you to harm anyone. Okay. I'm like, girl, you better YouTube it. No. So, in saying everything, saying that, I'm saying this, that I probably am an enabler for somebody who bought theirs. I actually went through the steps, you know what I mean? Because I don't want anybody to harm somebody else, okay? So I go to the hospital, right? Because I'm like, man, something going on. My eye can't see out my eye. That's why I had to give you the backstory first. So I go in there and I'm like, I got blurred vision. I can't see. So I go in there and I'm telling them my head is sore. What they want to do, they go give me a whole cocktail. They treat me for a migraine. It's like, oh, we're going to give you this. No, I don't want to go to sleep because the problem is I keep falling asleep. And I'm like, I want to wake up. Remember I was telling y'all, I was like, I got stuff to do. I want to wake up. I want to wake up. So I'm like, I would have bought, listen, y'all, I went and bought all new light bulbs. See, y'all heard me last week talk a little bit about it because I was like, I can't see. I'm thinking it's the new LED lights these people trying to get me.
Yeah, you did mention that.
Yeah, I was like, it's the computer lights they trying to get me. I can't see. It's blurred, and all that extra stuff. So I get there to the hospital, and I'm telling them, and I was like, oh, I don't want that. They're like, oh, well, we're going to give you, some Benadryl and some other stuff they don't give me, some Reglan, and y'all can look it up. I don't need that. I don't need that. My head is sore. It's sore to touch. Okay, follow me, baby. So I'm telling them, no, I don't want to go to sleep. Turn the lights on. She did something with my IV bag. Next thing I know, the doctor was like, Melanie. So when I woke up, like,
you passed out?
y'all didn't put me to sleep anyway. They did something in my bag. She did something in my bag. I said they probably was back there was like, no, we're gonna put her out.
Now they say nurses and doctors are the worst patients.
I get that. But in my mind, that's why I gave y'all the preface. In my mind, I'm like, y'all passing out like people buying degrees, and you sitting there and I'm telling you my head is sore. I don't have headaches. It's sore to touch, right? That's why I be having my doctor. Listen, y'all got a good doctor. Keep a good doctor. It makes sense. It's so important. So I'm going to talk about advocacy. That's Mel's Medical Moments for today, lovely people. We ain't even got to do it at 11 o'clock. Be your own advocate. Even though they didn't put me out, I ain't lying. I was like,
wow.
So he treated me for a migraine. Was I able to see? I was able to see a little better because when I went in, they did the visual acuity 20/20 on the right and 20/40 on the left. So this was real. Remember I told y'all last time, I was like, I feel like I can't see. This was for real, 20/40. I was like, oh no. And then I clown a lot. So I'm sitting there thinking like, oh, I hope because I hope it wasn't because I was clowning, we talk about the other people. I was like, oh, I'm sorry, Lord, And I remember that scripture that he ain't gonna do nothing, for evil and all that other stuff. I be jacking up the scriptures. So,
my dear.
Okay. So I'm like, all right. Then they got the my chart. So if y'all got the my chart, get the my chart. But if you have some medical knowledge, so I'm reading this my chart. So the doctor who woke me up tells me, he was like, hey Mel, he didn't say Mel, he said Melanie. He was like, everything is fine. Your CAT scan is fine. I really wanted a CAT scan to make sure it wasn't nothing because we'd be over the top. Like I said, you got some medical background. When they say ignorance is bliss, this is why. Because the more you know, you be like, oh, maybe I have that. And if you don't know, you be like, living and you're not stressed, right? So my CAT scan, he said CAT scan came out fine. So I go to the house, boom, my chart. I was like, hold on, show me my CAT scan fine. So it said I had a cyst, okay? Cyst in my head. It makes sense. A cyst is a sac-containing fluid, but here's where it makes sense. That's why my head was sore to touch. Like you ever have a pimple, and you're like, oh, it's sore. So amazing. See, that's why I got my old doctor. My old doctor, he's older, graduated, not that old, but he graduated from medical school in 83. He made it make sense to me. So my point in saying all of this is make sure that you have somebody you can communicate with and they hear you. Make sure they're listening to you. Now, you do have some old doctors that like, oh, no, we're not doing this and this is the way it is, blah, blah, blah. Make sure you have an open dialogue, open communication with your physician. This is your medical physician, okay? Have that personal relationship so that they can explain things to you in lay terms, your terms, where you understand and you trust. That's why I ain't going nowhere with him. Listen, I was like, thank you. And then he was like, let me show you. Boom. I was like, aha, makes sense. Pressing on the nerve, which is causing me not to be able to have blurred vision. Because I feel like I feel like it's like 1986 and I got a curl. Remember you used to wear your hair over your eye? Nick, remember that? You used to wear your hair over your eye with the Jerry curl. Well, I had a
get all the Jerry curl juice in your eye.
All the activator all up in my stuff. That's how I felt. I was like, right. I feel like I got the moisturizer in my eye.
Now, not all doctors are open-minded like that when it comes to talking to patients. They think we're stupid.
Well, you need a new doctor then.
Yeah.
Right. That happened with my mom when she was in the hospital. Like, we would ask questions, and I was asking a lot of questions. One, because number one, I was a CNA. Number two, I did go to college for pre-med. I didn't finish, and number three, my mother was a nurse. So growing up, any question we had, my mother pulled out her nursing books, read it. Okay, so we're not stupid. But I was asking questions, and the doctor looked at me. He was like, "Well, would you understand if I explained it to you?" And I looked at him. I said, "First of all, my mother was a nurse. She retired 20-something years." I said, "I did go to school for pre-med." I was like, "I was a CNA, and my mother made us read things." So yeah, but I was like, even so, if I'm asking you a question, it's your job to answer it.
Absolutely, and to ensure that you understand what they're saying.
Right, and that's a place shifting the burden of responsibility onto the patient instead of on himself. Like, even if he explained it in medical terms, that's not effective. If that turns out to be ineffective communication, then like you need to explain it in layman's terms until the patient can comprehend what you're trying to say to them. That was incredibly condescending. I had a negative experience with a physician as well. And yeah, definitely, if it ain't right, just move on. There's lots of doctors to choose from.
Y'all, I didn't mean to laugh at that comment right there.
Oh, don't worry about that. Don't worry, we got a show to go on there. Catch it. Y'all can catch it on YouTube. Here's the thing. When you have those encounters with physicians, and yes, there's a lot of physicians out there, and I want to say this. When I go in, I don't tell them I'm a nurse. I don't. They be trying to put, "Do you still work here?" "Yeah, I work here." I do not tell my occupation because I don't want you to not treat me as a patient. And I want you to treat me the same like you would treat everybody. You know what I mean? You took the oath and it's like, okay, here we go. Because sometimes they feel as though, oh, okay, they're over the top, or like nurses, oh, they're going to be non-compliant. Since you said it, Nick, talking about nurses and doctors make the worst.
You can make the worst patient sometimes, because my mama was that one
patient. But don't be putting me to sleep. I told y'all don't go to sleep. And then I told you, he was like, "Melanie." I was like, when I woke up.
Look like SpongeBob 2 hours later.
Right. I needed a narrator. Yes. I definitely needed a narrator. But it was like, wait a second, like that's not okay. But I did feel better. But still, I mean, so I can't knock them for that part of it, the stress part. But you have to be comfortable. You have to be comfortable. And moral of the story, get yourself a good doctor. Talk to your physician. If you can't, move on. And I'm going to say this to the people that's off the chain. Because you be getting in there, and they're like, okay, well, the physician's trying to tell you something. And if you don't understand, I guess it's the frustration. I try to blame it on that. But here's the thing. When you are frustrated and don't know, that's when it's time to listen. And that's in life, period.
Mm-hmm.
You are frustrated and you want your point to get across. Listen, because your answer might be in whatever it is they're saying. And then if it's not, then go and reword it. I'm big on, okay, that didn't answer my question. Let me reword it. Give you another opportunity. Like, let me change it around. Maybe if I ask it this way. And then if I have to say, okay, listen to me. Make it make sense to me. So they have to come into my world. You know what I mean? And it's all good. It doesn't take long. But my doctor said exactly what it was. It made sense to me. He was like, here you go. Here's some medication. Boom. Did it. And I feel like it's working because it's like puffy right here. So I'm thinking it may have ruptured or something. Yeah. So we like to hear that.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
We like to hear that. We got a great show planned for my beautiful people. Thank you guys for tuning in. We're about to get this mug started. Today's topic is what? It is the conversation, lovely people. Let's have the conversation right after this.
Everything that happens is motivation. Everything that happens is motivation.
Welcome back. Let's get into it. We know that Memphis, Tennessee released a video on Friday at 6 p.m. Now, I want to put this information out there. I'm talking about Tyre Nicholson. Am I saying his name right? Because I got all these names in my head, and that's what's so tragic, that I have all these names of the injustices and the abuse that's going on that I can't even keep up. And it's so sad. It's so sad because it's somebody's child. Tyre Nichols. That's it, I believe. Fact check that for me, Amber D, if you can. Because I want to give, I want to respect him and respect his name. The video came out Friday. Even though this went on, I want to say January the 7th, because I heard about it back then. A picture is worth 1,000 words, people. We know it. And once you see it, it's like, oh, this is off the chain. Here's where I want to tackle, because everybody, some people seen the video. I couldn't, as a parent, I could not. As a human being, I can't see somebody jumping somebody. I never understood that, even like back in high school when chicks wanted to jump somebody. I was like, oh, okay, you said she can't fight, so why y'all jumping her? That was my thing. It was like, But to see somebody get beat or even beat up is not okay. And as a parent, I just couldn't. A parent of being a boy mom, being a girl mom, they punch that girl in the face over some cheese. Like, all of it is so crazy out here that it makes no sense. Now, here's what most of us had the same consensus. We know that it was wrong. That we know. Here's the thing that I saw. Tyre Nichols, yes, thank you. Here's the thing that I saw last night, which really bothered me. That people were focusing, they took the focus off of him and put it on the fact that it only took 20 days for those black cops to get indicted. Let's shop talk, ladies.
I'm about to go off on that.
Go with it. I want to talk. Let's have a conversation.
Yeah. And the focus should always be on him because it was wrong. But the fact that because they were black cops, they got indicted so quickly compared to when it's a white cop, that's an issue in itself with this whole thing as well. Why is it that they are so quick to fire and indict black officers that are part of the Blue Lives Matter, but when it comes to the white cops, there's all kinds of excuses? It's not an excuse. It was excessive force, and they didn't have a reason to stop this man, and he was right in front of his house. His mother was upset. She couldn't even watch the video, was upset because he was calling for her, and she didn't even hear him, and he was so close to the house, but she didn't hear. She didn't know what was going on. Like, that, it baffles me. What is wrong with that picture?
Go ahead, Amber D.
So I feel like this is a mindset that happens in the black community, where there'll be an injustice that's perpetuated by a black person. And because it's a black person, we're focused on, oh, well, why is it that crime is swift? Why justice swift when it comes to a black person, but there's usually all these delays and speculations and administrative leave paid when it's a white person. And that's definitely an issue. But the problem is that the injustice was committed. And I feel like it's a deflection on the black community's part to see and focus on the inconsistency in how justice is given out in this country, as opposed to the fact that these black people did something wrong. And they got, you know what I'm saying? And I think that it was excessive. It was definitely excessive force. But from what I read, he allegedly, and because police officers have this established history of being dishonest and lying about interactions is like, okay, now I don't even know if that's just true. They said that he wouldn't pull over, and then they said that he fled from his vehicle. So then it's like, okay, well, maybe that makes a little more sense, you know, if he was escalating the situation. But at the end of the day, because it was the camera footage, it was excessive and there wasn't a reason for it. And then, you know, there was other police officers kicking him and punching him for no reason. It was obvious use of excessive force because they already had him restrained. Like they already had him on the ground. And I feel like the other component of it is that these police officers, because they're Black and because it was 5 of them, that to me, that feels very gangish and like mob mentality-ish.
Mhm.
You know, and they just started practicing groupthink. Like, how come not one of them was like, whoa, calm down, chill, like that's enough, like you know, bring it down, like the suspect is restrained. Like, how come one person didn't like snap out of it? And on top of that, I wonder, like, you know, when we get into Chef Waymo, there's just all skin folk ain't kinfolk. And just because they're Black people don't mean there are white people that are greater allies to the Black community than a whole bunch of Black folks. And those 5 police officers are a great example of that. Now, maybe there is some backstory because this seemed almost premeditated. Like, they was out to get
Like
him.
who we gonna get today, and you just happen to be the one.
Right.
Exactly. Like, we finna get somebody. Like, now maybe this man, because again, with the whole Black Lives Matter and all that stuff, is this man a victim? I don't know. I mean, he was a victim of the situation, but does he have a criminal record as long as my arm? I don't know.
Now you know what's interesting. Here's what's interesting. I heard what the allegations were that he was trying to run. I'm being flat out honest. The way things are, do you even have a chance if you sit there? Do you even have a chance? So guess what? I'm running because I don't know if I'm gonna get killed. Somebody need to tell the story. I'm so, listen. It's crazy out here in these streets. Like, what we gonna do? You sit there, you comply, you get beat up because it is bullying. It's bullying behind the badge. Let's be real and call it what it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, okay, well, I'm bullying with a badge. And I can see if he was trying to run, but it didn't look like he was trying to run when they showed the video footage. Now, here's what's interesting to me. What's interesting to me, because you know we be solving crimes on here. We be like, oh, yeah, but look at this, look at that. Even though Shanquella Robinson, going back there, those were her people.
Mm.
They didn't beat that girl up like that, and she did not fight back. In result, would she have had a chance? We don't know. So him doing his thing, which he minded his own business, and these people are supposed to protect him, and that's why I'm using her, because these are her friends. These are the police that's supposed to protect you. That, let's be real, we pay for. We, the community, pay for them. And it's like, okay, we're paying you to protect us, and you are the one that's harming us. Now, I got to go with this. Black on Black crime. It's crazy because it's almost like the Black community be mad. Let me give y'all the number first. 619-902-2287. 619-902-2287. I'm giving you that number first because I'm going to say what I want to say. It's almost like the Black community is like, yeah, Black Lives Matter unless the crime was committed by a Black person. Then we're like, okay, wait a minute. Let's look at this.
Definitely.
Just like this situation. Okay, these are Black guys. What did I say? I was like, oh, come on. That's what's even worse. So we're already, and I'm using air quotes for the listening audience, we're already getting beat. We're like, oh, okay, the white people, racism, the white people and aren't giving us a chance. The white cops is beating us up. The white cops is doing blah, 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 blah. And then you would think that a Black cop, if we already getting beat, air quotes, by white cops, why would you do it? Why would you do it? And there's no excuse. And I keep seeing excuses up there. They're like, oh, it's because they probably trying to show to their superior and blah, 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 blah. Now what's out there, and this is alleged, is that there was a white cop that was there. Quit changing the narrative, man. These people committed a crime, and I would hope that that chief who did that and indicted them within the 20 days, I hope that other people would actually do the same thing. Now, what I really want, you talk about police reform it to where they get fired in one county, they can't go to another.
Amen.
That's where I'm at. Go ahead, and I'm gonna catch up with the comments. Go ahead.
I just also want to point out that the fact that they're police officers is a huge component of this, but this is another example of Black men killing Black men, because I feel like I don't normally see these type of situations when it's law enforcement, harassing and unfairly treating as citizens. They're Black females, police officers.
Okay. Now, why is this an issue and not an issue in our community?
It's because I think that we're focusing on, just like with Black Lives Matter, they were focusing on the police brutality. But like you said, when it's a Black person killing another Black person, then it's silence, nobody cares. When it's a Black man killing a Black woman, then nobody really cares, and the data supports that. So as long as it's the Black person is the one doing the killing, then it's like, oh, okay, it is what it is.
It's okay. Yeah, it's like a pass.
And it's not even a Black person. It's when it's a Black man, it's okay. Because Black women are not out here killing each other at the rates that Black men are, or killing Black men at the rates that Black men are killing Black women.
Go ahead, Nick.
It's all an issue.
People think. Come on, talk to it.
It's all an issue, period. But I'm going to tell you what people are saying. Yeah, they're pissed off about that. And a lot of them are glad that those officers, because I'm glad they got them off the street. But it's still an issue of why they are getting charged so quickly when it takes longer for the white cops. And like you said, they get on administrative leave with pay immediately. Like, that's an issue too. There's two issues here. They were wrong. Especially with the George Floyd and everything else going on, they were wrong. They know they were wrong, but there has to be something that, like, why would all of y'all, then the other ones join? Why would you stop this grown man, I'm sorry, and beat him the way that you guys did for no reason? They didn't want to lie about it. Did you forget you got a cam on? I think a lot of people forgetting sometimes. They get in their mind and they're focused on doing harm instead of protecting and serving. And some of them do forget. I swear some of them forget they got a cam on. They really do. Like, what was the issue? What did you see? Did he look like somebody that maybe messed with one of y'all women or your girlfriend or a wife or something? What was behind? I want to know what the thinking was. Somebody had a vendetta against this Black man for what? For what reason? What did he do? Especially now it's coming out, that, like, the police chief said they didn't see it. There was no reason for them to even stop him. They turning on the department turning on them boys real quick. The other ones, they be trying to make up stories and try to have their back. Them 5 right there, they getting turned on real quick. It was said by the police that there was no reason for them to even stop him. First of all,
they didn't see a reason. Go ahead, Amber. You wanted to say something?
I wanted to add on to what Nick was saying, as far as them forgetting that they even have cameras on. That the other component is, I noticed in several cases when it's white officers, then the camera don't work, the footage was lost, it was corrupted and compromised or whatever. So conveniently, when there's a questionable incident transpires. So I feel like that's also another component of it. And then also, like, when the way they turn their backs on them, I have read some people were saying, well, maybe the police department chose to turn their back so quickly on these 5 officers, not because they're Black, but because they don't want a repeat of 2021.
George Floyd.
Exactly. They're like, no, we not finna do that again.
that's where I was going with it. I said, I'm just thinking maybe it's like, you know what, time's up. It's like, this is it. And it just happened to be you. Now, here's my thing. If you've already known, come on now, we've been on this earth, how long we've been on this earth, and we've known that there's been some injustices. We've been learned that through school, through elementary school. That's another thing too. They try to take Black history out. Y'all better get it in there or teach your children at home. Okay. But that's a side note. But we know this. So why would you even do anything? Why would you do that? You should be flying right. If you already know that you're not gonna get the same treatment, why would you do something different? Keep your nose clean at all times. I told y'all when I was in management, I was the only face in the place, and y'all know what I'm talking about. And I had to work harder. My counterpart could say, I don't know. I couldn't go in there and say, I don't know. I had to go in there, have an answer, or I'll find out. You know what I mean? But I had to be on my P's and Q's at all times, constantly proving myself, even though my resume spoke for itself. So my thoughts are, even if that's the case, like what's that incident? Remember the girl who slept with everybody in the whole police department and all the Black ones got fired?
Yes.
You know, it's like, oh wait, the Black ones got, hold on, wait, what happened to the other ones? Listen, you already know. So if
the spotlight is always going to be on us at all times.
So stay true to course. And then one was a detective. I'm like, oh man, you really took a fall. All that work you did. Go ahead, what you got, Amber D?
So I feel like we see this pattern, like you said, okay, if you already know the history of America, you know what environment you're in as a Black person, why are you going to sit here and do some stuff and then cry about not getting the treatment that a white person receives? I feel like that is because
break the law
and then not get exactly, and then be like, oh, why? Well, the white guy, he got off easy, but you know what environment you're in. I feel like that's because in the Black community, Black men tend to be coddled, and excuses get to make. And so then when they get out into the world, the greater world, and white society, they're like, oh, why? Well, it's like, but you should have. Like, it's like you're moving through life with a lack of self-awareness. And I feel like Black women, because we tend to be heads of households more often, understand that, listen, life is unfair. You're going to be treated unfairly. There are injustices. There's double standards. You're not allowed to make a mistake because, you know, you're going to be shamed, blamed, and harassed for your mistake. Where then Black men are like, well, why am I not getting treated like a white man? Like, why are you even saying that? Do you not realize you're in America? Like, and I do think it's from coddling, and that's why you typically see Black men responding with this type of logic. Like, well, why am I not getting a slap on the wrist the way the white man is getting a slap on the wrist? Like, come on, dude.
Because you have too much melanin in your skin. That's why.
And you ought to know better.
But my problem is you're breaking the law. Like, you want favor for breaking the law?
That it's like they want equality in their criminality.
Now, I'm like, what are we fighting for here? That's my problem. I'm like, what are we fighting for here? It was wrong. Bye. See ya. If you
got caught, period, point blank.
If you are innocent, okay. But if you are not and you're guilty, so you want me to give you, God give you mercy. You want me to give you mercy? Like, come on.
I mean, and the fact that
give me a pillow and listen. No, you did something wrong. Let me get a person the pillow and praise a person who didn't do wrong.
Right.
Like, come on.
You killed a Black man for no reason. You stopped him for no reason. It don't matter that you Black too. You did a crime. Just like if that person that did a crime that you pulled over, he should have been arrested, but he did nothing. And there was no reason for 5 of y'all to jump him. 1 of y'all was enough. But 5? Come on now. Like, for real.
All of it's all bad. But here I have to go back and revisit, just like black on black crime. If a white man kills a black person, the whole world is in the uproar. If a black man kills a black person, the whole world is not in the uproar. And that's what it's like. When do we say, no, you get the same thing? And now's the time. Right now here's an example where we actually can say, no, you get the same thing, but we're not standing for this. But then you have those who, I could not believe the Twitters was acting up, talking about that's the fastest indictment ever. Are we really changing the narrative here? We focused on, y'all really gonna put this on racism? And yeah, it might be unfair, but let's be real. This boy lost his life unfairly, minding his business. Real talk.
His house.
Listen, even driving erratically, he was minding his business. And you stop him. Now, mom said that, he's a freelance photographer and he would go, he skateboard, he worked for FedEx. And we know, I'm not saying it's true or untrue, but we know how funerals are. I mean, and this is not against the family. I'm just keeping it 100. Everybody say the good things at the funeral. And you be sitting there holding your bag and be like, oh man, that clown was still on TV while you watching it, but they don't say that at the funeral. They go up and they say the good things. So I'm here to tell y'all say everything. God forbid, if I go before one of y'all say everything I did. Oh yeah, she was no, but like she be listening to Pistol Grip Pump on her lap at all times.
Right, exactly. She gonna keep 100 period point blank.
Yeah, keep it 100. But so mom said, he was a good son. And as a boy mom, I'm telling y'all, I shared this with some of you. I told y'all I cried when I had my son. And remember, I told y'all the husband, he thought it was tears of joy. I was scared for him. I was scared for him because a black young man coming into the world and knowing the odds. And it's sad. Was I taught that? I wasn't taught that, but I saw it. I witnessed it. It was my experience of, viewing from other people. And it's like, whoa, go ahead. You want to intervene? Go ahead.
No, I just want to, no, go ahead. Go finish. And then I want to offer my own solution.
Okay. So with that, I had to keep my child prayed up. I prayed on him, tell him, raise up, boom, here we go. Pray. And when this happened to her son, every day that both of them children step outside, because it's getting so bad that even women, it's happening to women too, black women. And it's almost like history repeating itself. It's like, wait, do y'all remember this? Do you remember the movies? Show your children these movies. Like, this stuff is real. And we're trying to shield our children from what was, where it's harming them. And it's like, listen, you got to know how to respond. And I'm not saying conform to the white world, you know what I mean? Air quotes to the listening audience. But I'm saying just be aware of your surroundings, choose your battles.
Yep.
And know how to fight. And every fight is not with your fist. So being a mother and her not wanting to see that video, I totally understand it, because I can't even watch I can't even watch The Passion of Christ. When they was beating Jesus on the dog, it was a movie. My heart, I was like, oh my God, like I couldn't fathom that. So just knowing that that's your child that you can't help, you know what I mean? And then at the hands of your own, that is so heart-wrenching. That's where I'm like, are you guys serious? So I don't feel bad, and I'm just keeping it 100. I don't feel bad about it. 20 days good. Everybody needs to follow that. Follow that as the blueprint.
Okay.
Follow the Chiefs as the blueprint, where it was like, boom, guess what? Bam, y'all buy. Y'all not getting, because we complain. How often have we complained? Oh, they suspended. Hey, we complained about it. So now, guess what? They're fired. They're not getting paid, and we still got a problem. Come on, America, talk to me.
Meanwhile, locally there, right in my own hometown, yesterday, the same thing happened, but it was with white cops. And this young man is clearly yelling that my neck, I can't breathe. and they trying to break his arm, trying to break his leg. They on his neck, telling people to back up. Yeah, it got caught on video just yesterday.
And you know what? Unfortunately, that's the norm.
It's the
And it's
norm,
sad.
and it's yeah.
Unfortunately, that's the norm.
Mhm. So it's about to be an uproar in Farrell, Pennsylvania tomorrow or Monday. They get ready to get it popping. Yeah, but it's sad that it happens. Period, and it happens so much that it's happened. It happens so much that we're never gonna be able to see it all or catch it. It's
You know,
just
I got. Let me add something to that, to the police, because it's not all police officers aren't bad police officers. I just want to put that out there. And I also want to say that there are criminals. There are criminals. And me saying that is you guys can look it up. There's a book called The Games Inmates Play. Working in corrections for 20 years as I have, not everybody that's incarcerated are guilty. That's the truth.
mhm.
Treat everybody fair, firm, and consistent. Okay. And can people be rehabilitated? Probably so. But in my mind, I have that same thought. Everybody, fair, firm, and consistent. Everybody's a killer. So if you think of everybody as the worst, but respect them, you'll be fine. You ain't got to worry about falling in love. Okay. Ladies that work there, you know what I mean? You ain't got to worry about falling in love. But here's the thing. If you do your job correctly and you know, like, the skills or the techniques to use, and you know you're doing it right, then okay. You have people who will say certain things and it may not be necessarily true. When medical comes on site, when it's a medical emergency, because even that thing with the guy, my heart broke for the EMTs that came. Remember that guy died? And the police officer called the ambulance and they asphyxiation. I think he passed away from
Mhm.
watching him. And she was like, I'm not putting up with that. You have that unprofessionalism so much now, it's just sad. Okay. However, when you are in corrections and a medical emergency arises, and I love the fact that that police officer stood back. That's not his profession. His profession is this. And I remember we had a guy, and this is public knowledge. We had a guy, and I won't share all the information that was there. He was trying to get out. And when he was trying to get out, we didn't know. I'm here for his medical needs. But the captain that was there that particular day that I responded to, the bomb, the whole team. Shout out to you, Captain Purdue, Lieutenant Hamilton, everybody. And when I responded, I looked up. So we're here because y'all on the same team. I'm in his personal space. He would have grabbed me, bam, I would have been hostage, the whole nine. You know what I mean? Anything could have occurred. But everybody came down. I did what I had to do. And we got that guy out of there. Now, here's the thing. He did escape. I was in court for years. And so with that being said, you know, people are like, oh, the cops is doing this and that and blah, blah, blah. They having a seizure. You have to, it's critical thinking is everything too. So on the officer side of things, they're trying to protect. On this side, you know, and that's what people are like, well, the EMT that came, they need to be fired too. They have to tell us it's safe. That's what we're waiting on. Is it safe to, boom, come in? Now, for that young man in that situation, in that video, it is clear. And sometimes you do be like, oh no, boom. But the people that I have encountered were fine. It's like, okay, move. And you give them direction and they will help you. They'll do it because they're still officers and trying to protect. And it's like, okay, move that out the way, especially if somebody's having a seizure or something like that. Watch this because you don't want them to hit their head. And they're doing it. So they're following direction. Everybody kind of just like, boom, in it to save a life because you don't want anybody to die. But when they were saying about the EMTs need to be fired in the fire department, they're responding. And the end result, let's be real, is those boys beat that young man.
Period.
Killed him, and ultimately resulting in his death. Guess what? It wasn't necessary. It's not necessary. Like you said, he was apprehended already. Just stop it, people. Just stop. Now, you want to go with Chef Wamos?
Overview.
Let's go with it. Talk about it.
So Chef Waymo is a social media personality. He prepares food of Southern style origin, I guess. And so as he was gaining popularity, he's actually had partnership deals with several different food organizations, businesses like food prep and stuff. It came out that some tweets that he had made in his mid-20s were really anti-Black and anti-dark-skinned Black women. One Black woman came out, I think that's how it started. She came out and said, wow, I remember this guy. He harassed me online. Like, ain't this a trip? And then several more Black women came out and said, yeah, he has to harass me online as well. And so then the internet sleuths dug in, and it just got really ugly and crazy. The things that he had posted on social media in the past. And so then what happened was shortly after it came out on social media, the brand deals that he has, a lot of them decided to end partnership and end relationship with him. And then after that, it come to find out that, that was just a side gig or whatever. And he's actually a DA in Houston. And so then people were saying, okay, he should not be in that position because he's obviously has a history of being unfair and balanced, particularly towards dark-skinned Black women. And then his superior, Kim Ogg, she decided to stand by him as an employee. And so from there was a petition started to have him terminated. And then shortly after that, he decided to resign from his position as a prosecutor. And that's currently where the story is at.
Now, colorism. I'm like, colorism. If that's his preference, why are we canceling everybody? If that's his preference, what's the problem? If you can have your preference of what you want and how you feel and your thoughts, why can't somebody else? If you have these women who feel some type of way about it because that's their preference and they didn't like the way it was or whatever, and they talked about it, why is it wrong for him? And it just affects the way, he eats all around. No pun intended.
For one, I do want to point out that he had issued 2 public apologies, and they were, in my opinion, they were trash. They were disingenuous apologies. I think he still holds his own personal beliefs, and that's fine if that's what he feels. I think the problem is that one of the tweets that he was affiliated with or reposted or whatever was actually wishing harm on dark-skinned Black women, and that he was, referring to them as trash human beings and things of that nature. And I think because he's in a position to, he's been appointed to a position where he has impact and control other people's lives, that's where it becomes a problem. And if a white man had posted and said the things that he had posted online, people say he's a racist and he should not be in public office because he's going to negatively impact the lives of Black people. And this is the very same situation with the Black police officers. It's not about you're Black. It's that you it's like something is wrong with you to where you are going to be meting out justice unfairly and unevenly in your position of power. If he was just an average person, he is like, I hate dark bitches, then that's his business. Like, okay, fine, sir. You can't stop white people from being racist. You can't stop Black people from being racist. Somebody just hates another group of people. That's their business. That's their life. And you can do whatever you want, believe whatever you want in America. Okay, another privilege of being in America is you get to believe what you want to believe. But when you're
or they're going to try to cancel you.
But if you're in a position of power, then you are obligated to be fair. You have to be able to demonstrate your objectivity and say, okay, because I've been appointed to this position of power over impacting other people's lives, I can be fair and balanced and objective. And I think for positions of power, definitely you need to be able to show that you can be a fair person while you're wielding that power.
Okay, engage me. Here we go. So he's a prosecutor, and he's getting ready to. He's looking to charge a dark-skinned black chick. You think he's going to work harder? He's gonna study harder to make sure that she's
so. Or submit false evidence, or do other things that because he seems like he definitely has a personal vendetta.
Oh man, I wonder. Look, who did him wrong?
Okay.
Miss Butterworth, look, he ain't have enough Miss Butterworth. She ran out. Ain't your mama
right. I mean, I feel like, and then also, as far as like I said, his two, in my, very subpar apologies, he blamed it on alcoholism. And I think that's disrespectful. It's disingenuous because I know multiple people who are actively struggling with alcoholism or have struggled with alcoholism in their past, and they're not racist. So
somebody broke his heart.
I don't know.
That's what it seems
I think it really is self-hate. And
wait a minute. Wait, what you say, Nick? That's what it seemed like?
That's what it seems like. Maybe the dark-skinned woman broke his heart, and so he just hate all dark-skinned women. Like, get over it. But colorism is real. And black folks is prejudice against other black folks. You do have that case. I mean, it's racism, period. It needs to end. It's like ridiculous, but this is the world that we continuously live in.
Yes, you know what? I'm glad you brought that up. I was having a conversation with one of my good friends, and colorism is real. Now, beautiful. She got light brown eyes, high yellow, the whole nine. And that doesn't make her beautiful, but she's just a beautiful person. And I had no idea. Well, I didn't know about colorism. I didn't know it really existed amongst my people, meaning my circle. And when she shared her experience of her being light, she said she wasn't accepted, and she used to want to be darker. Isn't that something? So you have dark-skinned people who wanted to be light and light-skinned people who wanted to be darker. And it's like, I don't know. Like, nobody's comfortable in their skin.
That's because they were getting bullied for their skin color.
She was yellow. So I guess so. Yeah, some people, yeah, man.
And I think that it's, as collectively, our larger history in America, there is an issue, and this is not just Black people, but any kind of subgroup that's kind of impoverished in any greater society. There's usually like this kind of like ongoing, deep-rooted issue with like self-esteem and self-worth. And I feel like a lot of that, whether you're on the lighter spectrum or in the darker spectrum of Blackness, or if you have, predominantly Black features, it's tends to be a struggle because within our greater society, it's viewed as a handicap. So it's like, oh, well, I could experience more privilege or whatever if I was lighter in the greater community, or, oh, I would, have a different experience if I was darker within my subset community. But it's still rooted in just not being happy with what you have, like what God gave you.
Baby, I'm happy in the skin I'm in.
Yeah, it's
stretch marks and all.
You ain't had stretch marks before. See, that's the difference. I'm like, throw some hot sauce on it, get some Frank's Red Hot.
What? Exactly. But it's sad all the way around. It's sad, and it's really sad when it comes from a child.
So how do we correct that?
You gotta correct the source where it comes from.
But if you don't know, so Okay, let's dig a little deeper. You said from the source, from where it comes from. How do we know what the source is?
That person has to tell. Okay, story. My niece, she's dark skinned like my brother, beautiful chocolate child. Her older sister and her baby sister are light skinned because their fathers are lighter. The oldest brother, he's brown skinned too because his father. When she was about 7 years old, she was crying. Her mom asked her what was wrong. She asked her mom for some bleach, and her mom was like, "What do you want some bleach for?" And she wanted to scrub her skin because she wanted to be light skinned.
Oh,
So
how
my
old
mom
was
was
she?
pissed. My mother was pissed, and because her mom called to let us know, and it was because her older sisters were teasing her because she was dark skinned. Child, you talk about somebody. My mama went in. She loved all the kids, even though those aren't my brother's biological kids. We treat them the same.
Mhm.
But my mama had to go in on them girls. That
Okay, so she corrected it. Amber D, I want you to read this comment, please.
Okay. Okay, so Elena Missy Pierce said, even though I was light, I was told I was ugly / funny looking. That really sets the tone of your life. Exactly. And I feel like it's not just correcting the negative, because sometimes there's not overt negative influence. It's the lack of positive input and the lack of positive representation. And especially for girls, I feel like, you know, girls need to be nourished, they need to be loved on, they need to be told, little girls, that they're beautiful, that God, you're special, all those things. Like, it is important that you're actually pouring positivity and providing positive representations for children, not just knocking out the negative influences.
Okay, having that child psychology and early child development experience, I want to ask you, Amber, um, this. When the child does not actually say anything to you, how do you pull that out?
I mean, I would say parents, honestly, I feel like this is a great example of being an engaged parent, because a child, especially as they get older, are not going to come to you directly. But if you're observant, and even if you're observant and you don't really notice any glaring, big, giant red flags, or just little things, or if it's just something that you're like, hey, well, maybe this is something I should look at, you as a parent can broach the subject and inquire about it, or set up a little test or something just to gauge your child's um self-esteem and self-worth, and how they feel, not just about like their skin tone, but their body, their feet, their facial features, you know what I'm saying, their weight, their size, just checking in on your child's mental health and their self-perception. I would say that you don't need to even have any red flags, and it's just good to um kind of monitor that as a responsible and invested parent.
Okay, Nick, you want to read the next comment?
Okay. It took me well into my
Oh, you
30s
have to
to
say,
love.
who's it from? Who's it
Oh,
from?
I'm sorry. Jennifer Gilmore from Facebook said it took me well into my 30s to love the color of my skin. I was every ugly thing in the book growing up, and it had a major impact on my life. And it didn't help me when people who were supposed to love me made me feel less than because of my color. And unfortunately, that happens all the time. It's like the same thing with you having really pretty cousins, the skinny, the best body, and then you have the average or the big girl like I was, always getting teased. Oh, you fat, you this, you that. Guess what? My comeback is from now. I might be fat, baby, but that didn't keep me from getting not one, not two, but three husbands. Where's your one engagement? Boom. Like sometimes you got. That's why I get my little quick wit because I was teased as a child about being big. I went from being a little pencil to a big girl, and I was always teased. But guess what? That didn't stop nothing for me. I'm still me. I love the skin I'm in, whether I'm skinny, whether I'm 150 pounds, whether I'm 250. I'm going to get loved, period, point blank, end of conversation. And the very person that's talking about you is the very one that hates themselves. So therefore, they're reflecting their self-hate on somebody else.
Now, there we go. Now, because I'm sitting here like, come on now. I need to know how we fix this. Come on.
Just get ready, come with it.
Yes. And that's true. That is very true. I listened to what Jennifer Gilmore said. I actually, I'm reading and I'm like, man, and along with Elena Pierce on Facebook. And it sounds like people had an issue with them because clearly there was something that they liked about them. And sometimes people, even as adults, will find something or try to find a flaw, but it's up to you to say, I have none. It's up to you to believe that. And here's the cop out. I'm going to say this cop out, and I don't care what nobody say, this is the way that I live mine. The cop out is nobody's perfect. No, that's because you choose not to be. Because I could have sworn it would strive to be perfect. No man is perfect, but strive to be. Strive to be. Don't say, oh, well, nobody has that. Why? Because you don't want to. And I associate that back with relationships. Yes, I'm going back there. You'll have a guy to say, oh, well, you ain't going to never find that. No, I'm not going to find that in you. And that's because you don't want to. So you want to even the playing field. But sorry, the playing field is not even. So when somebody says something crazy and abstract, and see, my upbringing was very different because as a child, if somebody said something or picked on me or tried to, I missed it. You know why I missed it? Like I tell you guys, it takes 3 positives to get rid of a negative. Even though things will happen in your life, find the positive. Find it and be like, oh, okay, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. My thoughts were, oh, call me self-centered or whatever. I was like, oh, wow, they must have a bad life. Oh, it must be a lot going on over their house. That was my thought. I didn't even know I was being picked on. I was like, oh, you know what I mean? But you have to have that self-love and kind of like what Amber was saying. So if what Jennifer was saying, as far as like even at home, like Nick was saying, her mother nipped it in the bud. Hold on. No. See, I believe it starts at home.
And my mom used to always say, when people talk about you, they're jealous of you. Period, point blank. If they got something to say about you and you've done nothing wrong to them, they just look at you and all of a sudden it's because there's something about you that is lacking in them and they are jealous of you.
Okay, watch this. Watch this. Because you don't even have to fight that. You don't even have to fight it. You don't have to say anything at all. Mm-hmm. Here's what I challenge the parents, especially the younger parents too, and the older ones, to stop it today. Because if you are supposed to love me unconditionally. And if I'm getting more love outside than I am inside, what are you teaching me? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if at home, I need to get the love, you're wonderful, you're great, you're this, you're that, go out there and be great in the world. At home. So then when the outside world comes to beat me up, guess what? At least I know when I go home, they think I'm wonderful. So I have something to strive for. You know what I mean? Not, oh, you terrible, you ain't gonna amount to nothing and da-da-da-da. And then the street is telling you the same thing. Come on, it's a losing battle. It's a lose-lose. Prime example, they be thinking I'm over the top. My grandson got bit at the daycare. He lived 6 hours away. Yeah, I got on the road. I need to see the baby. The baby got bit. But here's the thing. We got to get on the road. The baby got bit.
She gangster grandma.
But here's the thing, though. Because of my own upbringing, even though that was a bad experience for him, guess what? There's a light there. He was shocked to see me. I surprised him. Will he remember the bite? He might and he might not. But guess what he remembers most? Guess who's here?
Bobby.
You know what I mean? So, and that's what we have to do, even though it's something that may be tragic. And I'm not saying you got to buy him anything. Just give him something to look forward to. That this did happen. It happened. You accept it, but that doesn't set the precedence for the rest of your day. That's all I'm saying.
Gigi showed up and showed out, y'all. Don't play with Gigi grandbaby now.
Okay. You see what Ava?
She said grandma rolled up.
I'm like, who that bit, Santana? Like, what? Hey, and it's a lesson. He probably like, oh, these teeth do that too? You know, not just he, you know. But even in life, these are, what is that book called? Everything I learned in kindergarten. You guys ever read that?
No, that sounds like a good read though.
And as you become older, you realize like, oh yeah, I did learn that. Here he in preschool. He didn't get big. Oh, wait a minute. Hold up. But guess what? Lesson. Look at the lesson. The lesson is don't let that one thing set the precedence for the rest of your day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what? Amber D, read this comment.
Okay, so Ava G Fit Lily said positive affirmations at home will shut out most negativity in these streets. Thank you. And that's what I was gonna add is that and as Nick mentioned, that a lot of those kids that are bullying other children, it's because, they're insecure and they're jealous. But I feel like those are heavy words to put on a child. I feel like they're coming from a toxic environment. Like Mel said, they're coming from a toxic home environment. Most children who are bullies are learning that behavior from their parents or someone in their home. They're actively being bullied by someone else. And so the issue with colorism in the Black community, and if you're actually in education and have looked into it, there have been studies done on why, because Black children don't behave like other Black children, like other non-Black children, as far as how they interact, like the bullying and the viciousness, the attacks, the tearing down each other's character, that starts in like kindergarten. Like, it's weird. It's not normal. It's dysfunctional. It's toxic. And that's because those children are coming out of toxic, dysfunctional households. So as Nick said, like, let's challenge parents. I think the bullying and the colorism, when it's that early on, that is a parental issue. That's not a human issue. That is a parent failing their child. And more than likely bullying their own child. And I feel like I see a lot of Black, and it's a certain socioeconomic status, Black mothers who will they will drag their children, speak all kinds of negativity over their children, and just break them down. And then you're surprised that little kid comes to school and harasses another little kid. They're being harassed at home by their own, mother or their grandma, or, you know what I'm saying, or some uncle or a cousin. So I feel like, as Mel said, it starts at home. It's a manifestation of what's going on in that household. So as a community, we should really prioritize parenting and being better parents.
Because there's been many a time I've heard, especially if the mother has an issue with the daddy or they fighting or they ain't getting along, you looking and you act just like your Black ass daddy. There you go.
Yep.
And then that child is being told that so much that it's ingrained in their brain. So they're going and they're finding somebody else to lash out at because their parent is mad at the other parent and the parent is lashing out at them. Baby, that's when you make better choices as to who you lay down with. That's what it comes out to. If you don't want your child to look or act like the person that you done made that child with, guess what? You make better choices.
Well, nobody tell her to get a souvenir.
Boom.
Now you can let her with who you want to, but you chose to get the souvenir. Now come on now.
Well, I mean, I do feel like, abortion
And
is
when I say
optional.
souvenir, I mean the child.
Right. But I think, to be fair, a lot of these women, they get pregnant by these men before they know them. And that's because they're rushing into bed. They're allowing their hormones to take over and they lose their objectivity and then they shut their brain off. And then this man who was, they met his representative, then they start seeing all his negative qualities. Now he's a POS and all this, that, and the other, and he ain't no good. Boo boo, you should not you should have not let yourself get impregnated by him before you saw all of his bad qualities. And more than that, because everyone has bad qualities, I'm a firm believer as a woman, it does not benefit you to go through the burden and stress of childbearing and doing it alone, more than likely, to a man that hasn't even committed to you. If a man won't give you a wedding ring, he will not legally be bound to you. Why are you giving him a baby?
Why are you giving him the punani?
I mean,
if the ultimate goal, if the objective is to get the punani, why hand it to you off top? I need to get some leverage here, honey. Call me what you want. Like can we play? Can we speak candidly here? If your objective is to get this, well, my objective is to get this. Why am I wrong for saying, okay, well, let me see. Play the game. And then they'd be like, oh, she played too many games. You want me to give you the only thing that I have for free?
The only leverage I got, and you think I'm supposed to just hand it to you openly, legs wide open, curl and all. Hey, come get it, nah, bro.
Okay, because most guys, let's be real, most guys cook, clean, they can do everything. What do you want me for? Oh, your company. Okay, half of them be like, oh, I can't even deal with her mouth half the time. Okay, that's good, but what do you want from me? I mean, honestly, what do you want? And then you have those guys who say, oh, well, I can get punani anywhere. You surely can.
Bye.
Exactly. Bye. See you.
Here's the thing. I don't get upset. I agree. Ain't no bye. It's just like, you sure can. You're right. But you choose to tolerate me. So guess what? This is what I want. This is what I require. And then you want to say I'm Hasididi, a gold digger, and you are a digger. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, so you want me to just sit here and I'm about to say it again and cook you some fries. Why we gotta eat fries? That's another thing too. Like, I don't even eat fries. Like, you telling me off top. I like restaurants. I like great restaurants. I don't even eat fries like that. So you telling me right now that the only place we going, they got to serve fries because that's what you like. You like fries. So I know every time we go out, we going somewhere where they serving fries. Nope, not gonna work.
I feel like
give me some like seafood. Give me some salmon and something. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, that's it. That's so nice. But
somewhere where they decorate the food and the plate, make it look pretty, and bring it to you. You know that's expensive.
Well, presentation is everything. And don't go there because we're about to get to the next subject. Presentation is everything. If a man can't dress, girl, bye.
I ain't got that problem.
I'm telling you, if a man
that problem.
Listen, my cousin used to say a long time ago. Now, see, I'm a tennis shoe girl. I'm a tissue girl, but there's a time and a place.
Right.
If you got dirty shoes on, bye. Not dealing with you. But my one cousin, she was shoes. If a man had great shoes, he was in it. She's like, oh, he can dress. She's about the shoes. I was about the cleanliness. That was so important. And they'd be like, oh, just check. And their socks. If your socks is whack, you dirty. Because that tells me what's up underneath. Yes, I do. I am that person. If your tennis shoes are dirty, you're dirty. Hygiene, bad. You had the tendency to throw something on and go out in public without touching no water. Nope, not doing it. There's a time and a place. And I told y'all about the dude with the Coogee sweater. Bye. The Coogee sweater in, what year was that? A few years back. Quit playing. Remember I told y'all about that comedy show I was running?
I remember.
I was like, ooh, so glad I ain't dating you. Bye. It matters. It matters because it tells you the mindset. How you dress is how you'll be addressed. I don't know who, author unknown. I don't know who said it, but somebody said it because that's how.
You say that all the time. How you dress?
How you dress is how you'll be addressed, and so you can't get upset when people present to you in certain ways, because this is how you, if you like, I got a hoodie on, they're like, what up, Mel? I'll be like, what up? You know what I'm saying? If I have on a suit, pantsuit, hi, how are you? You know what I mean? How you dress is how you be addressing. It's so true. It's so true. So there you have it. Now let go. What you got, Amber D, before I go with this topic about the family acceptance?
I just want to say, I feel like it depends on like if you do or do that on a date, then I would be like, oh, absolutely not, because it shows that you're not putting in any effort into how you're presenting yourself to me, And then, I mean, definitely as far as cleanliness, because I feel like if it's like it's got holes in it and it's stained, whatever. But if you are into like men who are like blue collar men who like work construction, you know what I'm saying, or do something like that, they gonna be dirty. So that's why I'm like,
if you build me a cabinet or a bookshelf, then come dirty. Right. You're not gonna just come out for like, come on.
Right.
Remember that one dude I told you he had a suit on? He looked fabulous in the suit. Then he was gonna wash my car. Then he came over and he had on regular clothes. He didn't look right. I was like, you need to go put a suit on. He's like, you wash your car? I was like, yes.
Oh my goodness.
It was like certain people can't wear certain clothes, but it's just me. Personal preference. Yes, if you are construction.
Wash the car though in the suit.
Listen, he looked
Didn't put the suit on after he done.
This brother could wear a suit, but he couldn't wear no regular clothes. Like,
could he at least put the suit on after he was done washing the car though? He was like, nah, dog.
He looked different. It was like Superman. He put that suit on. Put your suit on, honey, because it was cold. I mean, I don't want to be like, oh, well, I got a funeral to go to. Come on and have a date, a funeral date. But some people can't wear suits. Some people can wear like regular clothes and look fly, and then they wear a suit and look real silly.
Yeah.
But hey, to each his own. Now, acceptance. Do you believe over dating now? What is this, 2023? Dating now, does it matter if the family accepts you?
Before I used to always say no, I don't care, but it actually does matter, because it makes your relationship a little easier. It just, yeah. I used to say no, but yeah, family acceptance matters.
Okay.
It does.
Even at this age?
Even at this age.
What you got, Amber D?
I agree. I think that it matters, and it is it's twofold. So it's double whammy. Is that it'll be less friction in your relationship if you're supported by the extended family, and then two, it will support, like when you start going through difficult times, they're going to be there to push you guys back together. When you start to drift apart or fall apart, or you fall into conflict, the extended family are going to be there to support your union and say, okay, y'all can work through it, you can get through it, and be pushing y'all back together, not actively tearing y'all apart as you're already in conflict. So it's
less likely to be messy. They're less likely to be messy in your relationship, because if you don't have now, when you have family acceptance, they stay out of your relationship.
And because they respect your relationship, because they have respect for your relationship,
because they have the respect
for you,
stay out of it and let you two work it out, versus the messy person that's always in your shit because they don't like
you.
Get the bail, because they don't like you, so they're going to constantly be in your been there, done that in that present situation. They're messy. If they don't like you, they're going to be messy, and they always going to be in that person's ear, and y'all not going to get along. Versus if the family likes you, we ain't got nothing to do with that. That's between them. Y'all work it out. Period. Point blank. So yeah, I used to say no because you ain't marrying the family. Actually, you are. You ain't dating nobody in the family. No, you're not dating the family, but then in a sense you are. Because as long as that family likes you, there is going to be no issues between you. There's not going to be any messiness between you two. Whatever issues y'all got, y'all talk about it, whatever. And then if you see outside, ask opinions from your family, then yes, that family, like you said, is gonna be like, y'all good together, y'all this, y'all that, y'all can do this. They're gonna rally around and help you repair that relationship.
Yep. And
So
I think
at this age, I finally learned that yes, to a certain extent, that you need that family acceptance.
and I think that not even just you're not dating the family. You said, well, you actually kind of are a little bit. In my personal experience, no, you actually are quite a bit, because as you age and things happen in life, and you're trying to be the dutiful spouse. And I'm saying for husbands and for wives, it's not even a gender
Mhm.
specific thing. You're gonna pitch in and help your relatives or his relatives, because that's what a good partner does.
Right.
Example, my grandfather would help take care of my grandmother's sisters because they didn't have husbands, because he was a good husband, and those were her sisters and his wife's sisters, and they were his family too. So if you want to have a cohesive family unit, including extended family unit, it matters that they like you, because a good spouse is going to get invested in their family, your in-laws family. And if it's friction on friction on friction, it's just going to be another stressor in your
Right.
relationship.
And that is like my mom. My mom is the second oldest, and her oldest sister. They're my uncle, him and my mom didn't get along, but they got along. They always argued to pick, but they loved each other, to the point when my mother passed away, my uncle and my aunt paid for everything. They told us whatever insurance money your mama had, you and your brother split it. My uncle said that was my sister. I loved her as much as we argued and picked at each other and cussed each other out. That was my sister, and I loved her. And I got this. Y'all don't worry. Y'all don't have to worry about nothing. And to the point where they decided that since both of our parents are gone, even though we're grown, whatever we need, all we had to do is call them, because they
But what was
felt
the
like they
age
had to
though?
take on, huh?
But what was the age though?
The age of what?
For acceptance, for family acceptance. Like, I ain't trying to be funny. I'm big on family. I love family. But if your people don't like me, I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm gonna miss out on whoever my air quotes for the listening audience, my soulmate. Oh, his sister don't like me. So we're not gonna be together at this age? Like,
Well,
No, we're not saying that, but what we are saying is having that family acceptance on both sides makes it so much easier.
yes,
It
yes. And I feel like there's a difference between one
oh my gosh.
one
Listen,
person not
I gotta say this. I'm gonna let you speak, Amber D. I'm gonna let you speak. I'm gonna let Nick, I'm gonna let y'all rebuttal. But ain't no way in the world at this stage of the game am I gonna wait for my family to tell me who's right and who's wrong for me. It ain't happening, because if I'm sitting there and I'm waiting on that, they listen. They be done chose the wrong person, be done chose an abuser, because they looking at the outside, looking on the outside, from the outside looking in like, oh, they great. Y'all should do A, B, C, and D. You don't know what I'm dealing with. No, I'm not letting nobody choose mine. And just like you said, Nick, would you say you had 1, 2, 3 husbands? You be sitting there listening to the advice of somebody that ain't got none. Bye. I ain't listening to it.
never happened.
Never
happened.
And if your family don't like me, you ain't the one, because guess what? You can't head up my household. Got your sister heading up my household. Be mad, call it what you want, because, oh, my sister said, oh, you eating pork. Y'all got a pork chop. She don't eat pork. Nope. Get out of here. Get out of here.
Listen, I ain't trying to hear my sister said, my mama said, none of that. And I've always heard that. I don't have to hear that anymore, because I got that little bit of acceptance. When you are being accepted, you don't have to worry about that messiness. That's what we talk about. I don't care. I never did. I did what I want to do, because
Sometimes you had that.
if I had listened, I wouldn't have been married to that first one in the first place, which I had to find out the hard way. But the thing is, I've
What
never
was-
been one to let somebody run my relationships. But the older you get, it's so much easier
You know
when
what?
there is some acceptance.
I get it. I do. I get what you're saying, but I just got to keep it on the other end. Got to keep it on the other end, because even like with my first marriage, they probably ain't like me. They probably, well, let me say this. I won't even say that they didn't like me. I would say they like somebody better for him. And I'm safe in saying that. And then it's like, oh, okay, things work. But I wouldn't have my Santana. But guess what? Here's the thing that's interesting. People are very protective of their loved ones. And now that we're apart, we all real tight. Cool. But here's the thing, you always want better for yours, or you think things are one way, and it don't even have to be that, because that other person is only going to share what they share. And then you have the people who can't get in, not everybody. So I'm just saying, I'm just putting this out here for the sake of conversation. You have those people where, especially brothers, when you have a brother, it's like, oh, and your brother always came through for you, and then they get a chick or a wife or whatever. And then it's like, oh, my brother is not readily available for me, so I don't like that person. You changed since you got with that person. That's why I don't be fooling with the whole accepting thing. It's like, do you accept me? Can you tolerate me? Can you deal with me? That's where I'm at. But I get you guys' point. You know, I'm open. Go ahead, Amber D. I see you over there.
Well, I feel like the examples, like I was going to say, like there's a difference between one person in the family system not liking you and then like 75% of the people in the family system not liking you. And then also I feel like it's reflective of the family dynamic that your partner is coming from, because the examples you gave to me were like pretty toxic and dysfunctional. And if your partner is coming from a larger family system where they really value like marriage, union, relationships, they really value family, then like Nick was saying, they're going to have respect for your union. They're going to tell you up front. They're going to be pretty upfront about whether they like you or not. It's not, it's going to be an 8-year test to see if I actually am going to respect you as my partner's as my relative's partner. Like, no, it's going to be the first or second meeting. They're going to be like, okay, I like them. They're cool, or no, So I feel like
I'm that sister. I don't like that bitch.
Exactly. And so I feel like when you have extended family who's riding the fence as to whether or not they like your partner, that's a manifestation of their dysfunction. Because if someone your extended family truly loves you and they really want what's in your best interest, they're like, oh, they seem really cool. Like, obviously I just met him, but I like the vibe. Like, she seems like a really cool person, right? It's not going to be like, well, I don't know, and yang. That's so your person.
They fit. What is it? Oh, okay. Well, that person fits in our circle.
Exactly.
Yep, exactly. When you get fit in that
circle,
like,
cool.
Yeah.
I like the fit. I don't like being around somebody's family and being uncomfortable and been in them situations too many times. I done got too old. I ain't got that to do. If you listen, either we gonna get along and do this or we're not. But yeah, because I sure enough asked, did I pass the test? Oh, I did. Okay, because if I wasn't passing the test, I don't know, bro. Because I ain't got time to be arguing.
But guess what, though? Now, see, I'm glad you said that, because you gave them power.
I don't think so.
Maybe it's the only child with me. Listen, maybe it's
nobody power of nothing.
I'm the only child. Let's just say that it must be because I'm the only child.
Yeah,
I'm like, I don't really care. And here's the thing, and I am who I am, and y'all know it ain't do I fit. I be like, do y'all fit?
Now, listen, seriously. Beforehand, that's how I thought, and that is why, like, situations like I said, this last one, Mama Messy is I don't know what. That's why now it's like I don't have time to be in a relationship with somebody where I'm not getting along with their family. I done got too old for that.
Okay, Nick, but I'm still gonna feel the same way.
But I want to say,
cannot blame his mother. You have to blame him.
She messy. She messy.
Okay.
He let her be messy, but she messy.
Go ahead, Amber.
I just want okay, so yeah, I'm on Nick's side with this, and that's because as me and Nick already discussed, we're sisters. I'm big sister. I have a younger brother, and I know how I am, and that's not because I'm bitter and I'm insecure. No, it's because I love my brother, and I'm gonna vet his potential partners. And if she don't pass, I'm gonna let him know, and I'm gonna let her know too. You
I
know,
have.
so it's not exactly. So it's not.
You gonna let her
negative.
know? Okay. Let's keep it 100. Be fair. So if it's a wonderful person, and you know that, and I'm just using an example, you know that, let's say your brother, both you guys have brothers, aren't overachievers, and you know that this woman is everything. Are you going to be honest and say, girl, you gonna be the one working because he ain't gonna be working? Or are you gonna look out for the best of your brother and be like, oh, he's gonna make it with her because she gonna make sure? And then she,
I'm that one. Like I love my family, and I'm gonna just tell her I'll tell any chick that be wanting to get with any my brother or cousin. I'll let him know that he ain't shit. He a hoe. If that's what you want to deal with, cool. But he a hoe.
but what about passing the test?
I mean, because she already done passed the test, and I'm the same way. I'm 100%. I love my sister-in-law. I just want to put that out there. She's actually overseas right now. She's in the Air Force, so prayers out to her for her safety and a return home. She's amazing. And when I first met her, I said, "Oh man, CJ, oh man, I love her." You know, it was instant click. She fit in the circle perfectly. I said, it's like she's already a part of the family. Are you sure we're not blood related? You know, it was a great fit. And when she got pregnant with her first child, I said, girl, now listen, you do what's best for you. you take care of yourself now. You know?
She really fit. She really fit. You
Exactly.
like, you.
Listen, they with me, they know if you getting some conversation out of me, then you done pass that test. And because I don't just conversate with anybody, and I used to always let my brother know I don't like that hoe. Don't bring that hoe around the house.
Right.
Like, for real. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, you know what? I don't converse with everyone either. And when I first meet somebody, I kind of sit back because I'm an observer. It's who I am. Well, I come up, they be like, oh, she's stuck up. No, I'm not stuck up. Oh, she don't. Instead of, oh, this chick probably over there, she's studying us while we studying her. You know, and it's just like, boom. It's like, do I want to deal with these people? No, I don't think so. So my thoughts is, I look to be like, do I even want to be, just as if I'm going somewhere, you step into the room, your environment. Y'all know I'm an energy person. This didn't just start.
right.
I have been this way forever. And if I step in the room and if the vibe is off, I'll be like, oh, okay, we can be cool. And I'll compartmentalize, I'll friend zone. Boom, you know, what is it going to be? Am I trying to take control or to control someone? No, but what I am going to do is control me. And your family is not going to control me. And this is just my thoughts. So, and y'all let me know I was wrong, but I'm going to say it anyway. If a grown man has to get the approval of their people, and this is just me, I'm not saying y'all situation, of their siblings, especially at this age, I don't want you. You know why? Because your sibling is going to be the one running my household, and that's not gonna work for me. Go ahead, read the comment, Amber D.
So Jennifer Gilmore said, and sometimes family can be jealous and intentionally cause problems because they're miserable and don't want no one else to be happy. Now you done missed your blessing trying to be cool with someone who really out to destroy your happiness. And like I said, that person, the partner, is coming from a toxic family system. If you're dating a man and he has multiple people in his family like that, I'm thinking it might not be the best union to begin with.
Right.
Because
I think that one, like that comment right there, is more so for like a younger person.
Right. And then also like, you know, if you're someone who's like more traditional, who, you know, values family and stuff, because a lot of times that type of behavior is not isolated to one person in that family. It usually be a handful of people in the family that are on that level. And so I feel like it's still valid. You know what I'm saying? Like and like you said, the energy of the room and stuff. And I feel like with Nick's point and experience, when I say okay, it makes it so much easier, like so much easier when there is mutual respect, when both sides of the family
Right.
each other and respect the union. You don't understand how much weight and pressure that puts on you as an individual and on your relationship if you've never experienced the opposite of it. Where you start dating somebody and they family just loved you, and that's like one less issue. Now your relationship still
Yeah, but then when the relationship dissolves, then the family don't dissolve.
Right.
That's
Exactly.
true.
Remember how Rugal said? Rugal was like, no, when we divorce, the family divorce, and that's not true.
Not at all.
Right.
Person.
Yeah, exactly. Not at all. Nope. And that's happened multiple times in my family because a lot of men in my family have had multiple wives. They're like, oh, y'all divorced? Well, that's sorry, but we still like her.
Exactly.
She's a cool person.
Exactly. With my first husband,
At the cookout.
family members, and you know, his kids, his son. I'm still mom.
And that's how it should
Still
be.
my son. He has a son. And my grandson. That's my grandson. My second husband, his aunts. I'm still niece. They're still auntie. I'm still cousin. You know, some of my brother-in-laws. I'm still sis. This one here.
You still have to be that. I mean, y'all created that family. When you said I do.
This one here.
Yeah, when y'all say I do, I'm acting like
I'm
I don't.
done.
You see that? I don't hear what you talk about. When you say I do, when you consummate that marriage, honey, you did.
You did it. You done it.
You can't erase it.
Yeah. I mean, I just feel like
It'll be there. You can file it. You can file it away.
Be a saw, chainsaw, whatever. I cannot. No. Now the cousins, they're cool,
Okay.
but no, just no.
And it's okay, but you can't listen. You can't erase history. You can file it away, but you can't erase it.
I agree. I'll just say
I'm just saying what I'm saying.
yeah.
Look, real talk. But I ain't me
Let
personally.
me sip my coffee because I ain't got tea.
Acceptance. If you like me, you like me. And I want to share this real quick. It's like a diamond in the rough. I know somebody who amazing guy, and he didn't introduce his wife to his sisters because he, didn't want them to come on. Sometimes you got some family members that you be like, and I don't want to speak for him, but this is what I saw. And then, even speaking to some of the sisters, they felt like, oh, okay, he didn't want to introduce the wife to us. Is he ashamed of us? Now, in my mind, I was like, even to think that. So how are you acting to make them feel that way, or for you to even think that they would be that way? That's one. Two, he's an amazing person, and him not getting the approval of his siblings, to me, I had so much respect for him because guess what that said? That said, I am my own man. And, got married, boom, got it going on the whole nine. And it's like, and the sisters didn't meet the wife till like years later, and they felt some type of way. But then when they met, it was like, because sometimes you look at the family and you be like, oh, wait, they all, messy. I'm just giving an example. Oh, their whole family messy. And then you tend to think that in one individual may be messy. And that may not be it. That may be that one person, like I said, the diamond in the rough is very different. And like, I don't want that lifestyle. I want something different, i.e. why most Black men end up dating white. On to the next topic. Why do our Black men choose the white girl? Now, I was told because they don't want to deal with the headache.
I was told because they'll do anything that they're told to do.
And what were you told, Amber D?
Well, I would say that the data told me that they run from responsibility, and it's easier to nest in another man's community and benefits from the fruit of another man's effective patriarchy.
That don't sound bad though.
So I mean, because basically
what you say? What's the last part you said? Next to the man's fruit.
Yeah. So he
That
wants.
benefit.
So the white man, the Hispanic man, the Asian man's daughter, she is the woman
know
she
about that. I
became
don't know
because of the environment she was raised in and had the male influence that she had. We have a lot of dysfunctional Black women because they don't have fathers. There is an epidemic of fatherless homes in the Black community.
But what
And-
if they do have fathers and the fathers is being run by these mothers that are off the chain and demasculating these men?
So if someone is making, so that sounds like a personal accountability. Like if that man is complacent in that marriage to that woman, then that's his business. And the product of that union, their offspring and how they interact with the world and their personalities is going to be a product of that. Then so be it. I feel like we're to a point in our community where, maybe we're just not compatible with each other. So if Black men are more compatible with non-Black women, then go be with them and congratulations. I hope they're happy.
So when you go into a relationship, are you submissive at the beginning?
Am I true to myself? I feel like if you're a more traditional woman, I believe that you're supposed to submit to your husband.
Okay, yeah.
So and that's
so
not your husband.
Submissive?
No, because he's not your husband. And not even to be submissive, but just to understand that from my understanding of like biblical teaching and stuff, the Bible doesn't promote women acting like a dodo bird. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not encouraging women to not use their brain.
Engage me in this maze. So what Nick was talking about as far as pretty much the same like submission, like she said, she was told that the white girl does whatever he says. So submission. And that's what I was told, submission as well. So with that being said, with this submission, that's why I said, come on down this maze with me real quick. Let's go through this maze together. Submission, where as a Black woman, we're like, you earn that position.
Submission is earned. Yeah.
Okay. As a Black woman, watch this. Guilty until proven innocent.
For Black women or
no?
For
listen,
Black men?
No, just listen. Period. Guilty. That's guilty until proven innocent. Yes. I said, come in the maze with me, because here's the thing: not giving them a fair chance. It's like you have to prove yourself first.
But
so
we don't have to prove ourselves.
Wait a minute. Wait. We are guilty of doing what we accuse other people of doing to us. Now, I ain't saying, I just needed to just put that out there. I ain't saying go and be like, oh yeah, and bow down, whatever you like. I'm not saying that. I just needed an open mind to see like, oh, wait a minute, we are doing this too. You know what I'm saying? So even so, not saying that it's okay to date who you love. That's what I say. Date who you love. Each relationship is different. Treat it as such. And back to the guilty until proven innocent, or submissiveness is earned because of prior experience. Let's keep it 100. And it's like when you go into something, it's like, oh yeah, I did this and I was devastated and hurt. So now we want to protect our hearts. And it's like, Nick already said it. She's like, she cut off. Bye. See ya. Ain't dealing with that. We are not dodo birds, just as you said. So if you see that they're teaching the same thing at this school, you be like, I ain't going to that school. I done graduated. I ain't flunking. I ain't going through that again. So I get it. But I just wanted to just put that out there just to open the minds up to say, we as females are doing what we accuse, as a Black person, what we accuse other people of doing. But guess what? For some unknown reason, it's accepted with us because we're the ones that's doing it. So yeah, we get to talk about our own people because it's us. I'm going all the way back to the beginning of the show, all the way back to the beginning. Is it really, let's be real, is it really okay because we're Black? No, it's just not okay. Go ahead, Amber D, what you got? Because I want to talk about the cigars.
Oh, okay. So real quick then, I just think that, you do have to prove yourself. If we're talking about in a traditional framework of like courting, not even dating, which is different. And as we have discussed in the past, modern dating is really sex focused. So I think that's a whole other component of it. But yeah, the suitor usually has to, prove himself, right? And the woman needs to present herself. And so the idea that, I shouldn't have to prove myself to anybody, I feel like that's kind of disingenuous. It's kind of, delusional. Like you have to prove yourself, especially when it comes to something.
You say traditional, and here's the thing: if it's actually traditional, they know what to do. And see, that's the problem. These guys aren't traditional. So that's why they have to prove themselves. Because if you go back and you read the data and you look at the dating, how dating was back then, come on, these old sayings didn't come out of nowhere. What did it say? Bring home the bacon, I fry it up in the pan. Well, the problem is folks ain't bringing home the bacon. The woman bringing home the bacon, you want her to fry it up in the pan. Come on now, both y'all bringing home the bacon, but you want her to fry it up in the pan. She ain't allowed to be tired. You get to sit down. Something's wrong. So it's different. So when you're dealing with tradition, it should be a fair shake. It should be, you know what I mean? Come on, let's be traditional across the board, but you can't have a modern and a traditional.
Exactly.
Go hand in hand. Now, I was talking to the homeboy. We was talking about smoking. Do you think that it is, as a female, ladylike to smoke? Speaking of tradition, even though
my personal opinion is it's not ladylike.
Okay, go ahead. What you got, Nick?
As a former smoker,
I just want
it's actually not ladylike, but it's a habit that's hard to break.
Well, we ain't talking about that. I'm just asking the question. See, I don't need to.
It's really not.
We're having a conversation. Okay,
for a minute though.
Watch this though. I was having a conversation, and this guy told me, and he was talking about cigars. He said when he sees a female smoking a cigar, what he sees is her sucking a DICK.
Ooh.
And guess what I did? I got a visual. I was like, oh. Look at Amber D's face. If y'all can see it, listen to the audience, you'll be like, wait, what?
No, and I feel like that sounds to me, I mean, that's what he
said
from it.
His visual.
Right.
He said it's visual. Now remember, men, they say, what is it? Sex. Men like sex. That's what they see. But guess what? If I looked, I was like, I guess it could look like that. You got this big thing in your mouth.
I mean, I'm for people do whatever they want to do. If women want to smoke cigars, then go smoke cigars. I will just say that, it's documented that it's not good for your health, and that in my observation of men that I've interacted with, a lot of men don't like women who smoke. They find it as a turnoff.
Go ahead. What you got, Nick?
So he's comparing his Johnson to a little skinny ass cigar?
I didn't say that. You said that.
But I'm looking at
but watch it. Look, but see, this is good. See, I love thought-provoking things.
Visual.
No, but watch
it.
But guess what? There's different sizes.
That's what I was thinking. That was my first thought.
Baby, a cigar ain't
because y'all on the defense. Because you don't like what was said. That's
why. A cigar ain't that big. Listen, a cigar, the biggest cigar might be around this big.
No, they got bigger ones. They got bigger ones.
They
do. Here's the thing though. He said what he sees. Now, he ain't say his. He ain't say none of that. See, that's one thing about it.
But I'm seeing that. And I'm seeing this.
He said when he see women smoking cigars, he see them sucking D's. Now, I'm not mad because here's the thing. I got the visual. It doesn't matter about the size. It's the look. So everybody got different sizes. Real talk. But it's the look. And that's what he got. So he was like, I don't find it ladylike. He said, I wouldn't date somebody who smokes a cigar. He was like, because when I see women smoke cigars, he didn't say cigarettes. He said, when I see women smoke cigars, I just see them sucking D. So
Now, but does he want his D
Right.
sucked? That's why.
and listen, and that could be it, and that's probably why he saw that.
Cigars is nasty anyway. I went to a cigar bar. We tried to puff it. It was just,
But besides that, that could be it. That's probably why he's seen that. You know what I mean? Real talk.
And you know what? When I see men eating a half a watermelon, it gives me a visual.
mm.
Okay, but guess what? Do they eat it with a fork?
No, with their mouth.
Okay.
They go all eat. Juice everywhere.
Okay. See? Well, we already know. Don't eat no watermelon around Nick and Amber D. Don't listen.
They hold that watermelon. Just
Don't eat the watermelon.
please don't. Because I'm subject. See, I'm a little comedian too. I'm subject to make some sounds, and you gonna be mad at me, and you ain't gonna eat the rest of that water.
There you go. Look, and there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Now let's talk about the selling to. Did y'all see that? Selling to the Negro. It said on YouTube.
Yeah, I watched it. And I actually love when, people are keeping history alive, especially with this, fight with Black history. It's so important for us to keep, learn from this. And I think the biggest thing I took away from it was that, wow, it's still true, which is tragic. That's what I got from it. And I feel like the psychology behind why the Negro wants name brands is valid and it's reasonable.
And what was the reason?
For recognition, for prestige, for quality. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with quality. But especially in our capitalistic consumer society, that's not how you build wealth. Period.
How about
you
that?
know? So it's just like, when are Black people going to really learn how to build wealth and retain wealth? And even when we talked about nepotism and Black people have this weird fascination with making their children struggle. That's not how you build wealth.
Oh, yeah.
Just the financial literacy, there's so much improvement that needs to happen in the Black community. But yeah, the biggest thing I took away from that was yeah, wow, still true to this day.
Acceptance. Did you see
Yeah.
that?
No, I didn't get a chance to see it.
Oh, that's why we put it out there so you can talk about it for the show. It's called homework.
And I want to say that
Just didn't get a chance to see that one. I saw it.
I love the attire in the little infomercial, the way they were dressed and the hats. So that was nice. And even when they did the Black female, that was also
Here we
true.
go.
I definitely see that with Black women.
Let's see.
The secret of selling to the Negro is expressed in one word. That word is recognition. Now, there's nothing unusual about that. People want to be recognized. They need recognition. That's basic in all of us. But perhaps because he's had so little of it, the Negro needs even more. He needs to feel important.
Needing to feel important, and because he had so little of recognition. So that's why we shop name brands, according to that research.
And I feel like that's something. I think it's totally valid, and it's something that, circling back to a previous topic, that's something that can be addressed in childhood. If you're speaking life into your child, if you're giving them a sense of self-worth and inherent value, you have inherent value because you're a human being, then it wouldn't be such a larger issue subconsciously as an adult, to where you're buying name brands so that you can feel like you have some worth.
And probably what we were talking about as far as being a child, elementary, when you get picked on. Kindergarten. I think, Nick, you said that part of it. It's okay, so if you buy name brand, is that a way of not being picked on?
A lot of times within the Black community, as a young child, yes. Yes, they will pick on you if you're not wearing name brand. Oh, that's why your parents can't afford this and that. That comes out of children's mouths, and that sets the tone. But that also starts at home. Like, why are you teaching your child something like that? And so now they're picking on other children who do not wear name brand clothes. Like, for real? Like,
I gotta share this before we end the show. I have experience going to all black school, predominantly black school, and predominantly white school. And so did my child, who actually voiced it and said and noticed the difference. And the difference was at the black school, they cared about what he wore.
mm-hmm.
My daughter, they cared about what she wore. When we moved and went to the other side, nobody cared about that. They just cared about them. Now, when it got to high school, they, their personality, let's cheer. This is what we're doing. Now, when it got to high school with the girls, it was who was thin. That's what I got with my daughter. Like, oh, you're kind of fat, chunky, that type stuff, the appearance, but it wasn't about the name brand.
Mm-hmm.
My son, it was let's win this game. They were like into the sports and it was a team thing. So his experience was different. Like mine, I was a female, so I didn't get the same experience as a guy would. That's why I said it's really hard being the parent of a boy mom and what you have to instill in your child. And even when Amber D was talking about, a lot of men aren't in the homes. And let me be clear. We are not saying on Shop Talk with Mel that the men are not in the homes because they made a conscious decision to leave. Let's say that there probably are widows out there, husbands passing away, being killed, so to speak, since we're talking about it, okay? Or fathers being killed, and then you're like, oh, well, the father's not in the home. Well, you killed him.
Exactly.
Go back in history, you know what I mean? Shall we go back and what happened? You know what I mean? So you want, as an American, you want solutions, and we do want solutions. I'm big on that. I'm like, okay, I'll present the issue, but after I present the issue, we need resolution. And that's why I do the show. I do the show for resolution, and let's have the conversations. Let's address it. Let's not sweep it under the rug as if, okay, well, this is not happening. I got a problem with the fact that, yes, Black people, I do. And guess what? If I was white, y'all probably would be giving me the business, but I'm Black, so I'm going to take full advantage of it. I got a problem with Black on Black crime, and you're sitting there getting the attitude because if somebody white kills somebody Black, then you're sitting there like, oh, I can't believe they killed our Black brother, but you got your Black brother out there killing your Black brother, and it's supposed to be okay, or we want to change the narrative and make it a little bit better and try to put it back on racism. Oh, I can't believe they got, 20 days, they indicted them already. Can we stay focused on the issue and the crime? Let that be the blueprint. Let that be it. If you kill somebody, you done beat this man. If you kill somebody and these police officers are out here killing, I don't care what color you are. If you are wrong, you are wrong. Sorry you didn't get a pillow. Sorry your cot is on the floor. You got a mat on the floor. You in a cell with 3 people. Like, come on. I'm so tired. Sorry you ain't getting no cake on your tray.
And guess what? On top of that, they want to, cause a scene and protest when it's white on Black. And then Black on Black, but here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. Then that's when they turn around and they're no longer outraged about the person that got killed. They're outraged about the person who got thrown in jail for the killing. And it's free so-and-so. Free a real one.
A t-shirt. Talking about t-shirts for sale.
Free a real one. Huh? I'm always appalled at that one in the like, dude, but if he was white, y'all wouldn't be talking about free a real one.
Yeah, I feel like that's a culture.
Killed somebody. Period.
I want to hear what Amber D said. Go ahead.
It's a culture. I think honestly, if we get real honest with ourselves, it's a culture thing. I feel like the culture surrounding like urban hip hop, Black culture, you know, highly saturated with Black men. It is, you know, it's a celebration of degeneracy. It's a celebration, a romanticization of criminality and the criminal lifestyle, celebrating, normalizing,
Celebrating poverty. That's
yes, right.
celebrating us doing bad. Nobody wants to celebrate you in your same neighborhood if you're doing better, or oh, you might be getting ahead of me. That's that crab in the barrel syndrome. Oh, okay, well, we're doing the same thing, but she getting more business, so you don't want to celebrate her. Oh, we'll celebrate something negative. Man, we got to change the mindset, reboot your hard drive, and cut it out. And just as you said, Amber D, I think that was you that was saying, or was it you, Nick, that people that are with you don't necessarily look like you.
That was Amber, yeah.
And am I with the whole, yeah, I'm with pro-Black. I'm with pro-Black. And just because I'm with pro-Black don't mean I'm anti-white. So let's be clear.
Boom.
My thing is, let's be fair. Call a spade, no pun intended. Yeah, no, like, don't get me for the colorism. Like, oh God, you know what I'm saying? But let's call a spade a spade. Let's be real. Let's be consistent here. And when you have people who are, it's like, okay, well, I'm trying to do, here we go. Oh, well, I'm not supporting you. Oh, I don't like they said this. I'm not supporting that person. Okay, if you want to do the cancel culture, go ahead, cancel. You're going to cancel so much that you're going to cancel yourself out. And you are not going to benefit. So y'all need to be careful out there with the whole cancel culture thing. Or I don't like it, so I'm not talking to him. Just like the lady with the dog. And she was upset. And I want to put that out there. She was a great supporter, but I'm going to say it. She has a dog. She has a support animal. I get that. That's all well and good, but let's have the conversation. You have a support animal because you need it, but there are people out there who have allergies or asthma who can't deal with that in public, and you don't care about them because everybody has become so selfish and focused on themselves that they're not worried about everybody else. And it's my idea, my idea. People, if you don't hear nothing else I say, y'all got to be careful with being so understanding that it's mistaken for disrespect, because that's what's going to happen. Ultimately, you'll be disrespected. And why am I saying that? I'm saying that because this woman was so upset, and I had that conversation with her. I said, I understand you need a support animal to go outside, but what about the people whose health are at risk? Your mental health, their physical health. And they can't go to a restaurant because there's a pet there with pet dander. And they're accommodating you, but you don't want to accommodate them. Can we please stop being selfish and just look at everyone as a whole? Go ahead, Amber D. What you got?
I just want to say, as far as like the hip hop. Sorry, off of the pet thing. the hip hop culture. I think another major problematic component of like this sector of Black culture is the embracing of like victim mentality, and how it's because I'm Black and you know the white man's keeping me down and systemic oppression and all this stuff. And it's just like, okay, that's real. That happened. What are you gonna do about it? Crickets. Silence. And someone like you, Mel, like you said, a big part of your platform is presenting solutions. This portion of the Black community is not focused on solutions because that's work that requires investment in time and energy and actually being productive. And it's easier for this portion of the Black community to be unproductive, to be liabilities, and to be hazards in the Black community because they don't want to relinquish their victimhood.
Mel said it. They said the one word that was key: consistency, and that is something that our race does not have. We're not consistent.
Who we going with? Oh, we mad at them? Okay, let's all be mad. I've never been that person. I've never been that person. I'll be like, yeah, we cool. We all cool. Okay, you mad at her? Yeah, we're cool. But she never did anything to me. So guess what? I'm not going to be mad at her. I'm that friend. I am sorry. I'm not going to be, okay, that's what we mad at. No, bye, see you. No, everybody just be fair. And this is what we are going to do. Hey, my good people. Let me give you today's footnote. Today's footnote, fairness. Fairness does not mean everyone gets the same. Fairness means everyone gets what they need. And that's from Rick Riordan. All right. Come on, let's be fair, lovely people. That is my time. I thoroughly enjoyed you as I do each and every single Saturday. My good looking, lovely people. You already know what it is. I thank you for tuning in. And time is something we can't get back. So I really, truly appreciate you guys. If you have, and we didn't do the shop talk question of the week, let me do it real quick. If the engagement is off, do you keep the ring or do you give it back? Nick, what's your answer?
I'm keeping it. It's mine. You gave it to me.
Okay. Amber D, what's your answer?
I probably give it back because I have a lot of pride and I don't want negative emotions. You know what I'm saying? Negative memories associated with that ring. But if I was hard up and I needed the money, I'm gonna pawn it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
okay, it's an asset.
It's an asset,
It's
but
an asset.
if I'm not in need, if I'm not, hard up, I'm not pressed, I'm returning because I'm what's it called? Scorched earth. Like when a relationship is over, it's over. I'm not keeping no trinkets, no memories. We're not staying in touch. Nothing. It's done.
One and done.
Yeah.
Dang, you go hard in the paint. Okay. Look, okay. I thought you was Ice Cube over there. Like, this is it. All right, lovely people. That is my time. I thoroughly enjoyed you as I do each and every single Saturday. You already know what it is. Find you, embrace you. Most importantly, always love you. Until next week, people, you know what it is. Shop Talk every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. That is below. If you want to donate, you can do so. That's below too. Your girl truly appreciate it. One love, lovely people. Solutions is the key. And remember, every single day, it is okay to be you. Peace.